Today we're going to go over our folk art with foil embossing. So to emboss, you're going to be pressing your design into the foil to make it stand out from the flat background. So you're going to use either an old mouse pad like I am or some magazines for cushioning. And we're going to fold our edges in of the foil first. So being very, very careful, this foil can cut pretty deep. So let's try to avoid that. I'm using the edge of my pencil to flatten it so I get a nice crisp edge. This is a very, very thick foil, so it is kind of difficult. So make sure you're going slow and then use the pencil to flatten your foil. So we're going to do this on all four edges. I'm just going to work my way all the way around. Now that we're getting to the end, by now you should have already drawn your design on a piece of paper about the same size as your foil. We're going to just tape it down on one side to make sure that it doesn't move, and we're going to trace over the outline. So I had already started tracing. Whoops. Now I'm just adding heavy pressure with my pencil and going over all of my outlines, making sure that I'm pressing deep into the foil. I'm going to go over some of these other areas just to make sure. And I want to get the outlines of my different shapes. So ideally your outlines are going to be on the inside, and then we're going to press around the middle of our shapes to make sure those are popping out. I worked in reverse a little bit, so this is the back of my foil, which means that my outlines are sticking out. So anything we're pressing down on right now, ideally is going to be what stays in. It's gonna stick down. So when you guys do this, make sure that you're taping your paper to the front of your foil. That is one thing I wish that I did differently. Now from here, you're deciding which parts you want to be puffy and stick out and which parts you want to be flat. So the parts that you want to stick out, we want to make sure that we're flipped to the back side, and we're going to press those down so that they're coming out of the other side of the foil. We're working in reverse. So for my eyes on the cat to stick out, I'm going to be pressing them down. Now I'm doing this with a dull pencil. It cannot be a sharp pencil. This might be thick foil, but a sharp pencil can still poke a hole through it. And it's going to leave a crisper line. So a dull pencil is great because it gets nice smooth curves. They do make embossing tools with round steel spheres at the end so that you can get rounded edges. But unsharpened pencil will work really, really well. So now I'm going to make the rest of my cat stick out. So this is why I say I wish I had done my outlines on the other side, because I wanted the eyes to stick out, I wanted the skin to stick out. So I'm being very mindful of where those outlines are, and I'm avoiding them so that there is part that does go down on the other side. So I did use the backside of a pen. I used the lid of a pen or a Sharpie. So that's more rounded than what my pencil could do. This was great for larger areas. Now I'm going to give my artwork a border. A border is a must-have for this. We're looking at Mexican folk art, and they use a lot of patterns. We have scalloped edges, you could do zigzags, you could do flowers for your border, or just repeated dots of various sizes. So I'm going to do a combination. I'm putting in my scalloped edge all the way around for the border, and then I'm going to follow the contours of my scallops and do dots on the inside, or sorry, on the outside of my scallops. Now, because I'm putting this design around where I've pressed the edges down, it is a little trickier, so I'm using a ballpoint pen, but I can feel the pen getting a little bit damaged. In this case, I don't mind as much, but if you plan on using your pen for a long time, maybe stick with a pencil, a dull pencil, or the lid of a Sharpie. So here I am, I'm poking in the dots, again with a dull pencil, and I'm going to add in an extra little line in there so that as I'm pressing down the flat surface on the front, I have a nice crisp edge that's not messing up my dots that I just poked all the way around. So as you can see, I am done with embossing.